Hello and welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show for UFC 263 in Phoenix, Arizona, featuring the much anticipated, well, really it's the rematches card when you think about it. We've got two title fights, both of them are rematches. Both of the first fights were close, although different levels of close for different reasons, and we're going to get into that. And then, of course, we've got the 5-rounder between Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz, even though it's the third up on the card, and isn't for a title. So a bit of history being made there. And to be honest, I'm looking at this whole card, even just the prelims, not a single fight would look out of place as a main card fight on a pay-per-view. Not a single one. So, and then a couple of fun fights and some good fighters to look out for on the early prelims. We're switching it up. We're no longer going at bottom to top because, let's be honest, you guys don't always want to hear about Jake Collier or Luigi Vendramini straight away. You want the big names. You want the stuff that we're all looking forward to first, and then we can always get to the other stuff a bit more quickly at the end. So let's just kind of start about the whole card in total. How excited are we for this, guys? Obviously, Josh is going through the worst part of his weight cut, so his excitement isn't showing, but it certainly will.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to watch the fights. It'll be after I've massively rehydrated, so that would be cool. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw in every now and then just fuck off, and then just do the show quickly.
Okay. Yeah. So moving along with that.
Also, I'm not writing down my last week. Sly, can you write down my picks for me?
Yeah, of course I can write down.
One of us should write them down. So I haven't made any picks yet.
Okay. Well, starting off in that case, moving things quickly, we're not going to ask Sly what he thinks of the card. We are going to tell people to definitely watch the Eric Anders interview that dropped yesterday because it was a great little interview, 20 minutes, covered some cool stuff, and there's also going to be featured clips of that in our deep dive thing that's going to be released in the next 2 weeks. For now, though, we're starting with the main card, the main fight, the reason we're all here, Marvin Vettori versus Israel Adesanya 2 for the middleweight title. And I don't know about you guys. I do not see this going much differently from the first, except a bigger win for Izzy. I think Vettori's made a really good argument over the fact that one judge gave him 2 rounds, and it's kind of the only thing that he's had in terms of promotion to get this title shot.
Yeah.
So, we go
who's going first? Sorry, who's picking first?
I think we're all going to pick the same. It's just what kind of result. I can't see it doing it the other way. Plus, obviously, I'm, like many people, a big fan of Adesanya. And this last week has showed me that Vettori is he's just not my kind of guy. Did you see, by the way, his photo shoot for the fight?
He wore the shorts the wrong way around.
I mean, come on, this guy, man, he's got no chance. Like, come on, what? No, so I'm gonna go for Adesanya. Can I say my pick already?
You can just say your pick. We're going to be more casual. It's more of a conversation this time.
Can I just? Well, in my opinion,
that's true. We're not picking right away. We're talking.
Yeah, we're just casually having a conversation, kind of like deciding what we're going to take. But my opinion, and it won't be changed, is that Adesanya is going to win this by KO.
That's a strong pick, and. Just to touch on Marvin Vettori's shorts, it's not like those shorts where they're pretty much the same front and back, and it's an easy mistake to make. It's very clearly shaped in a way where it shouldn't have been comfortable. Like the warning sign should have been there.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. And I take it you guys have rewatched the first fight like reasonably recently. Like, do either of you actually think it was that close?
No, I think it was 2 clear rounds for Adesanya, and then a pretty unarguable clear round for Vettori, but not one where he really landed any damage. You never looked at it and thought, oh, that's a 10-8.
No. If we were, let's say we were backing Vettori, how would you see Vettori winning this? What would be Vettori's game plan if he wanted to win this against Adesanya?
Adesanya gets ill. Adesanya slips and gets hurt. Adesanya drinks a bottle of wine the night before. Honestly, I don't think Marvin Vettori is going to be good at pressuring Adesanya, putting him on his back foot, which isn't, to be honest, Adesanya's strongest suit, but it's a weakness, and it certainly isn't that. He is good. It's just not as good as he is going forward, counter punching or cutting angles and moving in from the side. He'll make a round or two close. Adesanya is definitely going to win. I agree with Sly. I think it's going to be a KO. I think Izzy is so improved since their first fight. And Vittoria's improved a lot as well, but not by the same margin.
It's different levels. What I would say, I do feel that Marvin Vettori has improved maybe more in terms of sort of numerically, in terms of different areas. But the difference is he's improved to kind of be an average striker with decent grappling and quite a good sort of top control on the ground, some threatening submissions, to having very good ground control, good takedowns, good striking. But what Izzy's done is he's gone from very, very good in MMA to elite in MMA. So even though it's not as much of a jump, the difference in terms of what he's now able to do, it's immeasurable. He's just crossed that threshold. I think it could be tough for about the first 2 or 3 rounds, but I think Marvin Vettori, the pace that he's going to fight at, he's going to get tired. And I think that 4th and 5th round and the presence of that 4th and 5th round, they change things a little bit. And the last couple of guys he's fought, he's been able to kind of maintain a pressure, but he's visibly been quite tired at the end. And the thing about Adesanya, it's a full-sized cage. He's got fans back. He's built to perform in front of fans. I kind of feel like the big argument that's been made as to why Vettori can win is that, well, Jan did it. Jan took him down in the middle of the cage. It's like Jan took him down in a light heavyweight title fight with an extra 30 pounds of weight than Vettori's going to have walking in on the cage. I don't think that he's got the physicality to keep him down. I'm kind of with you guys. I also think Vettori's so angry that he will just come forward until he gets knocked out. I don't think he'll accept a decision. He'll just, even if he's getting countered and picked apart, he'll just get to that point where he goes, fuck it. And that's going to be when it's all over.
That much is a certainty.
Did you guys watch the press conference last night?
I haven't. I heard Nate Diaz stole the show, though.
Of course.
He stole the show by saying about 9 words.
Oh, what did you say? Go on.
That's how you do it.
Cool. For real. All right.
Camp was good.
Camp was good. And a few other words.
Mate, brilliant. You see that? That's a fucking superstar.
Leon did not say much more, to be honest. Those two were all fucking business. Figueiredo tried to talk some shit, but to be fair, I thought Brandon Moreno handled it really well. He just kind of laughed it off. He was really enjoying the show. He looked very comfortable. Figueiredo ended up pushing him, actually, in the stare downs.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, Figueiredo won that fight quite easily?
No, it was a draw.
No. But he had a point taken away.
It would have been a win if it wasn't for the point taken away.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. The argument is that the third round where the point gets taken away, he's looking knackered. Moreno was turning the tables. He kicks him in the nuts, gives himself 2-3 minutes to get his breath back, and then comes and puts a pace on a guy who hasn't recovered from the groin shot.
Right.
And he's positioned the whole thing. His angle now is the Moreno. Oh, shut your mouth. His whole angle now is the Moreno was, play acting, dramatizing it, making it seem worse so that a point would get taken. Truth be told, it was a pretty bad low blow. So
it clearly affected him for more than the time he took out. So you could almost argue if it wasn't for that groin shot, Moreno might have very well gone on and won the fight on points anyway. So I will say, I'm going to say Izzy by knockout as well. I do think that it's going to happen like that. The moments between Adesanya and Vettori, it was like watching 2 teenagers having a shouting match at each other. I mean, just everything being thrown there. Their fucking dress sense, Nobody was waiting for the other person to respond. It was just trying to talk over each other. Vettori got so angry. Both of them making steroid accusations at each other constantly. With Vettori, he's just so angry that he can't articulate well enough to kind of be funny about it. So he's just screaming, and at one point he just says, "Hey man, and when after I'm done with you, people won't even fuck the clit on your head." And then it's like, what? He's like, "The clit on your head to match your titty." I says, "I don't understand." He's like, because you're on the fucking juice, you have a titty, no one says shit, so now you're gonna keep juicing, you're gonna end up with a fucking clit on your head.
Interesting. I think it's best they keep to fighting rather than politics, especially.
There's a reason Vettori wasn't getting main event push early in his career, right? He's always been a nutcase, always. This isn't a sign that he's going to fight extra emotional, to be honest, though.
No, he runs hot.
Yeah, he's always like this
He's
before every fight, and then he still sometimes executes a smart game plan. So it's very hard to read Vettori pre-fight because it's just different degrees of batshit crazy. I'm not really enough of an expert on it. It's too subtle a difference.
Did we all pick for a KO then?
Yeah, we all picked an Adesanya knockout.
I'm gonna go fourth round.
Oh, he's going bold. I think it's gonna be
not that we're gonna like compare who got the round right or anything. I just got a feeling.
He's just got a feeling.
Do you want to move on to the then?
We can move on. I just want to touch on one thing. At the press conference, Vettori was wearing a three-piece suit, and even Adesanya pointed out it is hot as balls. We're in the desert. It's like 40 degrees. How the fuck are you wearing a suit? You're not comfortable right now. But he's just too Italian. Just everything he's done since he's been there, and the way he's dressed, everything is just Italian.
Yeah.
So Italian.
I can't wait as well. When I'm done with this, I'm putting some layers back on.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the co-main event. We got another rematch. Brandon Moreno taking on the champ, Figgy, Davison Figueiredo. Figueiredo has been one angry motherfucker building up to this. He has been, as Josh touched, throwing a lot of shit at Moreno, saying, "Oh, he's trying to fucking say all this shit. I was only at 30%," stuff like that. To be fair, all Brandon Moreno said is, I think he's making excuses saying that he was compromised. Like, I took the fight on 3 weeks' notice as well. I'm going to be honest, though. I don't think Figgy was 100% in that first fight. I think the weight cut, close proximity, 3 weeks apart, affected him more than Moreno. And I don't think, if Moreno wasn't going to beat him then, I don't think he's going to beat him now.
Was it 3 or 2 weeks, the turnaround?
3 weeks.
I mean, I thought it was 2, 3. Well, yeah. I definitely think, given how quick they turned it around last time, that this fight is going to be a better fight. As a consequence, it will be a shorter fight. Man, I really want to pick for Moreno. I think he's such an amazing talent, but I just think Figgy's going to catch him. I just think stylistically, Figgy right now is too dangerous for him and has a little too much power when he's at 100%. And he's just in his prime. He feels... when you watch him fight, he does look unstoppable until he scores a low blow. Well, it was closer in that fight, I accept, but you know what I mean. He's been on a fucking hot streak.
The only thing I would say is the weight cut, even though this one isn't happening in close proximity to a previous one, it's still an issue. I'm watching these weigh-ins now. We've only got 4 guys who are still left to weigh in. One of them's Izzy, who barely cuts weight for this division. So he's just obviously not wanting to have to hang around too long for the stare downs afterwards. And Davison Figueiredo hasn't weighed in. So, this is a factor. Is his cardio going to be there past round 3? And I will say this, at the press conference, it's always a bit tricky to tell because there's such a language barrier with him. He did not look comfortable at all. Even the fact that he kind of stared down Moreno for a while and then pushed him. I always think that's a little bit of a sign of you had some anxiety, emotion that you had built up and you had to fucking just release it.
Well, he did miss weight for his first title shot, and he still fought an excellent fight against Benavidez. I don't know. I hope he fucking makes weight.
Me too. But it's going to be a good fight. I'll say my pick is still going to be Figueiredo. I think it's going to be Figueiredo by knockout as well. I think Moreno isn't going to be able to be that much better than what he showed on that one night.
I agree with Matt as well. I just can't, stylistically as well. Figueiredo is so good at submitting that for me on the feet, Figueiredo's got it on the feet. That's for sure. I think Moreno, the chances he has is taking Figueiredo down, kind of putting that pressure on him on the bottom, not getting too carried away trying to submit him or trying to get himself in a position where he could compromise himself on the ground, because Figueiredo could just turn him and submit him quite easily. Not easily, but he has the moves for it.
Yeah.
So that's 5 rounds. I can't see Moreno doing that for 5 rounds. I can't see him nullifying Figueiredo for 5 rounds. So for me, it's a Figueiredo knockout as well, just based on the styles of these two fighters.
Yeah, I mean, Figgy's talking about moving up to bantamweight, and he wouldn't be the smallest bantamweight if he did.
He's not an easy guy to wrestle. So Moreno's wrestling, which is not the go-to thing, but he's got, I think, better wrestling than Figueiredo until he gets to complex jiu-jitsu, where I think there Figueiredo might have the top advantage. So, well, when it's a heavy guy, it's always more difficult, and Figueiredo is a bit more heavy than what Moreno's used to. So, do
you think it will be as entertaining a fight as the first one, or do you think it's just going to be much more? Do you think it's going to be one-sided?
I think it's going to be a better fight. I think it's going to be more of a firefight, and I think Figgy's just going to catch him.
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be quick, obviously, and it's going to be. I mean, Figueiredo makes it exciting. He's got exciting striking style.
Moreno's never been knocked out, never been finished.
So yeah, interesting.
So now.
We'll see. So we're all picking Figgy by KO.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch mine, actually. I'm going to go sub.
Yeah. I want to go
Moreno by sub. Brave choice. Moreno by sub.
Well.
Write that down. Yeah.
Sly's going sub as well. Okay. Let's go now to the third fight on the is the 5-round non-main event on a pay-per-view. Very exciting. But here's my thoughts on this. 1, this fight is not going to need 5 rounds. And that's not to say that it will necessarily end in a finish. It's just that the extra 2 rounds, in my opinion, are going to have 0 effect on the pace of the fight, the result of the fight, or how anything ends up happening. I think this fight I'm calling this fight the rape of Stockton, because I think Diaz is getting murdered. Like, seriously fucking murdered. Leon Edwards, in the 1 round we saw against Bilal Muhammad, looked unbeatable on the feet. He has been training with Usman in mind as the guy that he has to beat if he gets a title shot. So his wrestling and all that side looks outstanding. So I don't see Diaz taking him to the ground. I don't see Leon getting tired. I just don't see what happens other than Diaz taking an unholy amount of punishment until either the fight ends or he eventually falls down or the ref stops him. I just do not see any other situation with that.
Nate's last fight was against Masvidal.
Yes.
And
he got pieced up.
And that's why he took so long off, or he took so long off because he just wanted a break?
Combination of probably that and paycheck that he gets for fighting when there aren't fans.
Yeah, plus he likes to be pay-per-view. He likes to be offered the right fight. Like, he won't just take any fight now.
That's what I mean. Is this the right fight for him?
I think this is a terrible fight for him.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like, why is he taking this fight? It's
They've probably promised him a title shot if he wins it.
God, yeah, he doesn't fight that much. When you look at his fight, it's like he fought 2016. That's when he had 2 fights, McGregor fights. Then the next one is 2019 against Pettis.
And then Masvidal
the same year, yeah. And then now in 2021. I mean,
and before the McGregor fights, it was like
full
on. The Menace, Michael Johnson. Yeah, I think before that. There was like a big ass gap as well.
Yeah. So 2016 for Gregor twice. 2015, he just fought Johnson at the end of 2015, December.
The
Yeah.
next one was 2013.
Yeah, and the other one before
Yeah.
2015 is December 2014. So yeah, I think before that he was a bit more active. Yeah, 2013 he was a bit more active, but yeah, he doesn't fight much.
Less wear on the tires than you might think. That's what
I think Leon's a man on a mission. He is
Oh
gonna
yeah, no.
do everything that he wanted to do to Bilal Muhammad, he's going to do to Nate Diaz.
But that's a man on a mission. But Nate Diaz is that one mission that might just be difficult, if not impossible. So
I don't think he'll finish him, but he will beat him.
He'll beat him badly.
Like just the speed difference with the striking is going to be an issue. He's going to be a lot stronger than Nate in the clinch. And I don't think Nate's going to find much comfort there. I think he's going to struggle to like land knees and elbows from the clinch against Leon. And I think Leon's going to separate at will and just piece him up.
Yeah. Also, I've learned a lot about Leon Edwards recently. I did not know about his dad running a gang in Jamaica and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and getting shot.
Get shot. And apparently Leon used to fight so much in the gang that he was in that's why he got the nickname Rocky.
That's
his
right.
gang name. Yeah. So he's not just ripping off a movie, he was given that name.
So just to clarify, you're going by decision, Josh, for Leon.
Yeah.
You're going by KO.
Yeah. Late as well.
And I'll go Nate by sub.
Bold.
Someone's going to take Nate. Come on, you can't just not. We can't just all three go for the sensible option.
The only argument that you could make is that Nate was willing to take this fight. Why? Is there something that he's specifically been working on? Is there something that he's specifically seen? Or is it just a case that it's a Hail Mary? It's a fight this fucking guy that no one else wants to fight, who needs a big name. And Jesus Christ, punch his chance. You never know, and we'll give you a title shot.
You never know. It's
Well, let me ask this. If he loses, but puts in a good performance, and McGregor loses to Poirier, do you see him doing the McGregor trilogy fight next?
Yep. Or if he loses and Masvidal needs a fight. There's fights for Nate Diaz. There's fights.
But if Leon wins, Leon is a contender for the title.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
If Nate wins,
probably gets a title shot.
Nate by sub.
Why not?
If Nate subs him, man, oh my god, poor Nate if he has to be against Usman, but it's Nate Diaz. You just never know.
Well, we're gonna find out.
It's true. It's true. Like Nate can surprise you, but I just don't see Edwards fucking this one up.
I don't either, to be honest. Should we move on to the next fight?
Yeah.
This is a fun little fight. Bilal Muhammad ends up on the same card as Leon. Probably going to try and make his case if he wins. And he's taking on the legend himself, Damian Maia. If this was 5 years ago, there's no question on my mind who wins this fight.
Yeah.
Not 5 years ago. This is now. Damian Maia is 43 years old. Bilal Muhammad is a fucking junkyard dog who grinds through everything. He is, however, exactly the type of striker who can get overly eager, close down distance too much, end up in a clinch, and get caught in something. But Damian Maia is really more of a top guy. He doesn't like doing stuff off his back. He can do it, but it's not where his real skill set comes in. So, yeah, I kind of feel like this is Bilal's as well. I think it's just going to be a bit of a passing of the torch. He just fucking grinds down, doesn't allow takedowns to happen, and beats up Damian Maia.
Couldn't agree more. I think Muhammad's takedown defense is good enough to not get taken down. Probably the whole fight, the whole 3 rounds. And his output in terms of striking will get him the decision anyway. So I can't see past Bilal winning this by KO or decision. I don't even know. I'll go by KO. No, I'll go by decision. No, yeah, decision. Decision for Bilal Muhammad.
If you're going decision, I'm going KO.
And if I go KO,
I'll go decision.
I'll go KO.
Decision.
That's weird. Yeah, you know what? It depends like how phased Bilal Muhammad is by the submission threat. I think if he is smart with his hands, smart with his level changes, this fight should be quite comfortable for him. But I can see him fucking up a round or two. That said, still going with our boy Bilal Muhammad. By decision.
By decision.
Yeah, give a fuck what either of you picked.
That takes us to the first fight that's up on the main card then.
Paul Craig.
Back in the Bear Jew, Paul Craig taking on Jamal Hill. And did anybody see Embedded? Because these guys have already had some words.
I didn't see it, but I've read about it.
Oh,
Is there beef?
Mate, vegans beware, because there is so much beef on this card.
Yes.
It's extending all the way down the main event. So check this out. They're literally just doing like waiting for the press junket or the media things in the back. And Jamal Hills makes some comment about his laugh or like dope or something like that. He's like, oh, what are you smoking, bro? Paul Craig was like, no, what are you smoking, man? It starts off weird and then end up literally squaring up, looking like they're about to fucking fight. Both trying to sound tough. And then Paul Craig just goes, your breath stinks. You got nasty breath. And he goes, yeah, I've got nasty hands too.
Wow.
I know that Hill was saying some shit about like he wanted to know what Craig was smoking to be saying shit about him. But man,
There's no.
I don't know if this is gonna play in Craig's favor or not. I thought that this was a bad matchup for Craig. I still think that. I hate picking against. I just I was definitely gonna pick Hill by KO. But just the fact that he might come into this a little emotional, maybe Hill by decision.
No, man. I don't think Hill's got. I think Hill's gonna knock him out. I just don't think Hill's got that time to waste 3 rounds against Paul Craig. Man, Hill is gonna put about, let's think, 40 punches, 40 hits on Craig per round. I think after 2 rounds, almost 80 hits. I think that's.
I think he's gonna come in over eager, eat a takedown, and spend most of the round one on his back. And I think he's gonna fight a little smarter from there.
Have you seen Jamal Hill get up from the ground before? I haven't. I mean, maybe it has happened in one of his fights, but I don't recollect him being on the ground and having to get up.
He hasn't had a lot of fights in the UFC. Paul Craig has been down and out more than once, and he's come back.
Yeah.
Paul Craig by sub. I'm going for it, guys. It makes no sense. This is obviously Jamal Hills to win, but I've got to back a Scot, and you can't ever rule the Scotsman out of a fight.
What did you go for, Josh?
Have you guys not seen
I
Braveheart?
went Hill by decision.
So write it down.
Yeah, Mel Gibson's Australian, just so you know.
I'm aware, and William Webb. Oh God, what's his name? William Wallace. He didn't win. He lost, so it's a bad example. But
Was he even a real person?
yeah,
Was it Robert the Bruce was like a made-up person?
I don't know who Robert the Bruce is, but William Wallace was real.
I'm cutting weight. It's just all of this just merits a fuck off. Plus the question about the takedowns. Fuck off.
Udoba, Brad Ridwell, Josh.
Brad Ridwell.
Riddell. Brad
Riddell.
Riddell.
There you go. Brad Riddell yet to weigh in, taking on Drew Dober, who's obviously coming off the back of having to fight Makachev.
Yeah.
Which is never fun. I don't know where to
Nah.
say this, because you look at Drew Dober and you think that left hand, and then you look at Brad Riddell and you think so many weapons.
Yeah, but no KOs in the UFC.
Well, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like he's they're 2 video game characters, and one person's really put the stats up on the left hand, and the other guy's been like, "I'm just going to spread all of this around nice and evenly."
I think Riddell's just really good all-round fighter. I think he's got enough to just avoid getting hit by that left hand.
He's a smart striker, but he has been like weirdly hittable. And I think Drew Dober pushes a harder pace, to be honest. I think Drew Dober's, just going to kind of like bully him a little bit.
I think he's more experienced as well. Brad Riddell's young in his career. He's had a couple of decent guys in the UFC, but I mean, Drew Dober is the toughest fight he will have had in his career.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
we'll see. I think he's going to make it
On
seem
paper.
Yeah.
On paper.
I don't think he's going to make it look like a very tough fight. But you laugh now, you'll see.
Well, there's the X factor with all of these guys from Kitty City Kickboxing, the two guys fighting on this card.
About fake.
Their teammate died during the training camp, and some of them are going to be motivated. Some of them are going to shut that out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going to use it in a good way.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to put a lot of pressure on themselves or have that in the back of their mind. I think Drew Dober's got this. I just think it's an experience thing. You know, he's been around for longer. He's fought some really tough guys. He started to, up until the Makachev fight, which is a tough fight for anybody. It really looks like it was coming together for him. I think decision. I don't think he knocks him out, though.
Yeah, I'll go decision as well.
You've got Drew Dober decision as well.
It's just you going Riddell.
Yeah.
And guys.
Yeah.
It's the fight. Friend of the show. Boy. The man himself, Eric Anders. He's taken on Darren Stewart at light heavyweight, which I didn't realize when we did the interview with him. But, I mean, no question about it, who the advantage is here at that weight class. Darren Stewart is not the largest middleweight in terms of, his frame. Eric Anders at 205, he has not had to compromise himself too much. Training with Eddie Char, looked fantastic in his last outing. Just needs to time that knee on the way up a little better. And it's tricky. I don't know. I think Darren Stewart's probably the more polished striker, but you know that he's so defensive when it comes to anything to do with wrestling, and you can take him down to the ground, that you can really freeze up his striking using that pretty easily. I think the recipe to beat him's there.
Wow.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And look, he was losing that first fight badly before the illegal knee was thrown. It wasn't the knee that rendered Darren Stewart unable to fight on. It was everything that led up to the knee. Unfortunately, the rule is the rule. But, man, yeah, Eric Anders KO. It's happening. It's happening early. First 2 rounds for sure.
I also agree.
Maybe
I'm also saying Eric Anders KO, because quite frankly, he's the only fighter that's been on our show. He might be back on the show at some point. So yeah.
So we're all going to go for Anders.
We're all going Anders by KO.
Let's agree to that.
It's not brown noise, and it's just common sense.
Do you think he'll be nice enough to come back and celebrate his victory if he wins? Or we can talk about his loss, but I think that would... I mean, if he does lose, it'd be lovely to have him, so it'd be a really interesting conversation.
Well, if he does lose, it's because you jinxed it.
Very true. Listen, at the end of the interview, he said, "Thank you for having me anytime." When I Instagrammed him about this, he immediately responded, "Thanks, brother," in terms of telling him that the interview was up. So he's responsive.
What a great guy. Eh? It's lovely to see people that actually, talk to their fans. I mean, at the same time, he must enjoy it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing it.
I think he's shrewd as well. He understands that we're going to be a big fucking deal.
Rocket ship to Mars. Get on the train while it's cheap.
Look, I love Eric Anders, I do. But I'm cutting weight. I'm in a bad fucking mood. So we're going to move on.
Lauren Murphy versus Joanne Calderwood. This is a title eliminator for the flyweight crown. And I love Joanne Calderwood. I would love to see her win this. I think she can win this. But Lauren Murphy's been looking pretty damn decent recently, putting it together really well. You don't like Lauren Murphy at all. I know you don't. But
I don't like Lauren Murphy, and I love JoJo. It's killing me because I'm picking Murphy.
The only thing I'd say is that if you look at the fight against Andrea Lee, I'm not 100% sure if she really won that. But everything else on her win streak since is pretty damn credible. I just feel like Jojo Calderwood, you can put her on the back foot with wrestling. She doesn't do the best job of keeping distance when she strikes. She tends to go into that clinch, and then if somebody can take her down, it's a bit of a recipe for disaster. Yeah, I think Lauren Murphy as well. I hate picking against Jojo, particularly as she's becoming that
she's going to
perennial.
pressure her constantly, and Jojo works best when she's got a little room.
You see,
She can work with the distance. Murphy's not going to let her get in a groove.
I don't know. I think Calderwood might have a chance. I'll take Calderwood.
She's always got a chance.
But I think she'll win by decision. I think she's. I just.
Well, I don't think anyone gets finished here.
No. I think she'll put the pressure.
It'll be a war.
What?
It's going to be a war.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that Calderwood can have a bit more output, maybe score a bit more points. Probably she won't hit her with a stronger hits. I think Lauren's going to be hitting her with stronger hits, but
yeah.
Well,
it depends. If Jojo gets her clean with an elbow or a nice like shin to face contact, then Calderwood's going to hit harder. But Calderwood needs to, be able to find the distance to land clean, and I don't think she's going to get it. And Murphy's certainly got the more power up close.
I'll take Calderwood by decision. Yeah, that's true. And you'll take Lauren by decision, or you'll take
Murphy by decision.
Yeah, it's Murphy by decision. It's all about the takedowns, really, though. If Murphy can't get her down to the ground, it's Calderwood's all day, and that means in that clinch, Calderwood's the one who's able to control. But Lauren Murphy will happily eat one or two straight shots if it means that she's going to get around, get close, and get to the body and get it to the ground. She's not going to be fazed by that. Yeah, it's Murphy's for me. It's Murphy for me. Murphy's law. Right, and that takes us to Evloev versus Hakeem Dawodu. I'll just make a quick note before we do the picks on this fight. There are mostly pretty heavy favorites from a betting side on all of these fights. I think there's some money to be made. There's going to be an upset somewhere on this card. So that's not changing my pick. I still think Evloev's got this. I think he's just too polished compared to Dawodu. But Dawodu's a massive underdog, and he's probably got a shot. Then
hasn't got a lot of love on the betting line. Hey, it's worth a punt. I agree with you though. Evloev's he's very persistent with his takedowns. Very persistent in trying to maintain top control, or at least threaten something like taking the back. Dawodu's hasn't lived up to the hype so far. I think he's going to become a great fighter. Don't think it's going to start with this fight though. I think Evloev's going to get a decision. I think that's the safe bet.
Did Dawodu, was it a decision loss against Tugozhukov?
Yeah.
Was it? I'm just asking. He lost. That was his first UFC, wasn't it? Against Tugogov?
You get another one. Brace yourself.
Won by decision.
I thought he won by.
Because I'm looking at his record. He's got one loss.
Yeah, split decision.
But it wasn't in the UFC then. I was trying to figure out what his record was. It's 12-1.
He's had a couple of close.
Yeah, his record's outstanding, but I just don't feel like the performances merit the kind of early hype that he had. Last two split decisions. To be honest, I can't remember either fight too well. Like if I felt like it really was his or not, but certainly not like the first split decisions he's had. Got at least one more. I just I don't know. Evloev looks like a problem for a lot of guys. I don't think Hakeem's gonna be able to keep the fight on the feet.
I've got this as Evloev by submission.
So we're all going Evloev. I'm going decision as well. Very safe.
What was yours? Was you by decision?
Josh said by decision. Right, and that takes us to the early prelims. Let's just smash through these a bit quickly. We've got Panic taking on Alexis Davis. This is youth versus experience. I'm picking youth. I think Kenzad rises to the occasion, beats Alexis.
Same decision.
Decision as well, yeah.
You both gone by decision?
Yeah.
You. I'm gonna go for Alexis Davis by decision.
That takes us to Matt, the steamroller Travola, who is now taking on Terence McKinney in a much more winnable fight for him. That means I'm going to pick him to win by decision. He should be the happiest boy of all time that someone fell off the card, because I did not like his hopes against
Camacho.
You both took Davis as
Maybe
well.
was from what kind of car was Frivola driving that night?
Him as well, no?
He been investigated?
What's that?
What car was Frivola driving that night? Has he been investigated? Has he been cleared?
Was he in the area?
Yeah. I'm also going Frivola. McKinney's another guy. Failed to kind of live up to the hype. I'm sure it'll be a good UFC fighter. Frivola, I've been burnt picking you before, Matthew, but I will go for you one more time. Let's roll the dice.
My namesake does not fail you.
What's your decision? Decision or KO?
Decision.
Decision for me as well.
Oh, sorry, Matt, I haven't written yours.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just
you're-
informing. I'm just letting you know where we
I
stand.
know you're better at remembering. I'm actually going to go for Terence by KO. I think he's going to catch him. He's going to catch him. Yeah, Frivola just gets hit a lot, and I don't think if he gets hit a lot by Terence, it's going to be nice, and that's what I think.
Fair enough.
Next fight.
Chase Hooper's back, taking on Steven Peterson. I love Chase Hooper. It's just a question of, does the fight get to the ground? Can he get a submission in? Because that kid is a kid when he's standing up on the field. I mean, he's a kid in the octagon, and then he becomes a fucking tarantula as soon as he gets them to the ground. But I don't think he's... I'm going to pick Chase Hooper by submission because I like the kid. I want to root for him. I don't know that much about Steven Peterson. I already know that Steven Peterson's probably going to be better at wrestling and striking, but worse at jiu-jitsu. So it's just whether or not this phenom of a kid can manage to keep the dream alive and pull a submission off and keep doing that until he buys himself enough time to actually become half decent at striking.
Yeah, well, Peterson recently lost to Alex Caceres and Luis Pena. I think they're kind of teeing him up for a winnable fight here. Definitely a striker grappler. I'm going Chase Hooper by sub.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page that we want Hooper to win.
Yeah, this doesn't reflect a step up for Chase. This is just keep the highlight reel going. You know, just keep churning up stuff.
Yeah, I've got Hooper as well by submission.
Oh, we're all on the same track here. Now, I'm going to be honest. This is the fight that I have no fucking idea about. So I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. Fares Ziam against Luigi Vendramini. Fares, come on, let's get it KO. I haven't got enough KOs on this pick. I'm predicting KO. Early banger.
I reckon Luigi KO. There you go. I'll predict KO as well then. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope for a good start to the evening.
You know what? He's got some subs. I'm going to go Fares by sub.
And then finally, Jake Collier against Carlos Felipe in the heavyweights. This is going to be a fun fight to kick it off. Carlos Felipe loves to fight. He's not the most powerful guy, but he throws those hands in combination. He can take a shot. He can wear guys down with pressure at heavyweight. I think he just wears down Jake Collier to submission and TKOs him with ground strikes.
Interesting thing about this fight is that Carlos Felipe's ring name is Boy, and Eric Anders is Your Boy. So we got Boy and Your Boy on the same card. Exciting stuff. And I'll go for Boy by KO on this one.
I'm going to go Carlos Felipe by decision.
Just to confirm, Boy, you mean Carlos Felipe, don't you, Sly?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Boom. That's our picks for the card. FYI, we are still waiting on Figueiredo, Brad Riddell, and Steven Peterson to weigh in. Everybody else has. I don't know how long they've got left.
Everybody made weight, yeah?
Sorry?
Everybody made weight as well, yeah?
Everybody who's weighed in has made weight.
Hey, did you guys see PFL?
I didn't. I read
Last
that
night.
Clarissa Shields won by TKO.
Yeah, she won. Some good fights on there, though. The Brenda Loughnane, Tyler Diamond fight was good. Marcin Held, Olivier Aubin Mercier was good. Man, fucking Jenkins Moffat was good. Fucking Clay Collard fight was good. So many good fights. PFL was fun this year.
And we're going to have
it's all on
Pettis
YouTube
fight.
as well.
Pettis fight's
Yeah.
been moved back 2 weeks.
Yeah, Pettis is fighting in 2 weeks' time. I'm assuming they're just quarantining. Like they must have come into contact with someone with COVID or someone in the camp or something. But yeah, they're gonna fight on PFL 6. I don't. Yeah, probably about 2 weeks' time. I think it's the end of the month anyway. I'm tired. I'm cutting weight. Fuck off.
So on that note, we will leave it until next week. Guys, weigh-ins dropping tomorrow.
Good luck,
Look
Josh.
out for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And
And watch Bellator tonight. There's some more good fights.
look out for the weigh-ins tomorrow and Fight Sunday roundup of all the action on next week. Till then, bye Dave, bye Laurie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.